This is a story about votes for women. It takes place in California more than 100 years ago in 1896. This story is called Marching with Aunt Susan. It's about Susan B. Anthony and the fight for women's suffrage. It was written by Claire Rudolph Murphy and illustrated by Stacy Schuett. This recording is for nonprofit educational use only. Here are some words that you'll find in the story. Headquarters, or HQ for short. This is the main office or central location for a business or a group. It's where their directions come from. It could be a whole building, a single room, or an army tent. The word suffering means that someone is in pain. It has nothing to do with suffrage, which means the right to vote. Strenuous means something that needs a lot of work. Strenuous exercise requires a lot of effort, like one-armed push-ups or running up stairs. Papa took my brothers hiking, but not me. Strenuous exercise is not for girls, Bessie, he told me. You're not strong enough, Annie said. It's not ladylike, Charlie added. I can ride my bicycle faster than anyone on the block, I told my brothers, even you. Girls shouldn't ride bicycles either, Charlie said, and they left without me. Inside, Mama bustled around, preparing for a party. I'm strong enough to hike, I said. Papa wouldn't take me along just because I'm a girl. You can help me get ready for the suffrage tea, Mama said. Aunt Mary will be arriving soon with our guest of honor, Miss Susan B. Anthony. Suffering? I'm the one who's suffering. I picked up the newspaper and stared at Miss Anthony's photo. She looks like a crabby old lady. A crabby old lady who has fought 50 years for women's rights, Mama said, even when people threw garbage at her and called her names. At the tea, everybody swarmed around Miss Anthony. They called her Aunt Susan, even though they weren't related to her. She spoke about the long fight for equal rights. She told us that children should grow up in a world where both men and women were free. Later, Aunt Mary introduced me to Aunt Susan. Why can't girls do the same things as boys? I asked her. She shook her head. When I was your age, my teacher thought only boys were smart enough to learn long division. That's not right, I said. Come to the rally in San Francisco tomorrow, Bessie. Women's votes can help change the world. Golden State Auditorium was so crowded that I could barely breathe. Aunt Susan stood up on a stage, surrounded by hundreds of roses. Her voice thundered across the hall. The votes of all the people, including women with men, will surely bring about the wisest and best government the world has ever seen. I pulled a white handkerchief out of my purse and joined the sea of flags waving in the air. The day after the rally, I rode my bicycle over to my best friend Rita's house. You should have heard Aunt Susan speak yesterday, I told her. My papa says ladies shouldn't speak in public, Rita said. Aunt Susan says that girls are just as smart as boys. We should get to help make decisions too. Papa decides everything in our family, Rita said. That's not right. I looked at my best friend. Someday I want to vote. Let's see if we can help out at suffrage headquarters. All through the summer, Rita and I wrote letters, licked envelopes, and painted posters. As we worked, we listened to women talk. Men decide everything. They even decide if we should get to vote. Men decide how the children are raised. Men decide how the household money is spent. I don't understand, I said to Rita. I get to spend my allowance any way I want, and Mama makes decisions about lots of things we buy. Not at our house. Rita shook her head. Papa keeps track of every penny. The week before the election, we visited a factory in San Francisco. Rows and rows of girls sat hunched over sewing in a dark room. Aunt Susan encouraged them to come to our suffrage parade. Afterward, a girl walked up. Me and my sister did some extra sewing to help the campaign. She handed Aunt Susan 2 dimes. If women win the vote, will I be able to go to school? I couldn't imagine not learning how to read and write. I leaned against the wall and tried to catch my breath. It made me so sad. Back at headquarters, I asked Aunt Susan why those girls didn't go to school. Many parents can't make enough money to feed their families, she told me, so the children have to work. Can women getting the vote change that? I asked. Aunt Susan nodded. We can work to pass laws that will help adults and children. I dumped out all the coins in my purse and handed them to her. If those girls can give money, I should too. Later, I painted a picture of the factory girl on a banner for the parade. Rita printed the letters.